Alright, welcome back to Dunetos Fitness. We're going to go over a couple tips for a front squat. Now, you've gone over the front squat, the squat standards, just your standard squat. We've gone over the techniques, the different mechanics that need to be performed when doing a squat. So we know that we need to make sure that we're maintaining our lumbar curve, keeping that posterior chain strict, making sure that our hips are engaged, our ankles aren't collapsed. All those great mechanics are going to translate to a front squat, to a back squat, and to an overhead squat. And so what we're going to do here, we're going to talk about the difference that comes with the front squat, considering the fact that we do have the weight on our front side now, and so the dynamics are going to change a bit. First thing we need to go over is how we're going to hold this weight, the bar on our front side. What you want to do is make sure that you're maintaining a good rack position. We call this a front rack. What it's going to look like with the bar right here, you see that the bar is just resting on my shoulders, okay? So what you want to get away from, if you have a habit of doing this, is holding the bar out in front of you, creating a gap between the bar and your deltoids. All right, what that's going to do is when you go down into the squat, that's just going to bring your torso forward, and you're eventually going to drop the weight. At a high volume of reps, especially going with a heavier weight, you're not going to be able to really perform the movement efficiently when you're holding the bar out like that. What you want to do is get this rack position with a bar. You should be able to just let the bar, by holding it, rest on your shoulders. And then get under the bar with your hands, and you're going to balance this bar on your shoulders just with even just using maybe your finger, your 4 fingertips, but you really want to get some flexibility right here in your tricep and the bottom portion of your wrist so that you can extend elbows up out in front of you narrowly and keep the fingers on your bar and let this bar rest on your shoulders. Okay, so here's what you need to do. You do some band work for your tricep. You can go to Kelly Starrett's blog, mobilitywod.com, and just talk about. You can see him talking about grabbing the band and just working some flexibility and some tension in your tricep area to get a more efficient rack position. If you need to just stretch out, that's fine. Just try and work that mobility and flexibility to attain that. Now with the squat, again, the dynamics are going to be a tad bit different than a back squat or a front squat, overhead squat. And as with the front squat, obviously the weight's in front. So what you want to do is, in order to keep your back straight, which is going to be the difficult part of the exercise, is you want to go a little bit wider with your stance. All right. If you're going just shoulder width apart with your toes out a little bit, you're going to find that your torso is going to come forward, and it's going to be harder and more difficult to keep it up. So you see me, I come down, and I can keep my back straight, and I still have that lumbar curve, and I'm just kind of hanging out here, but my torso is forward at the hips, so I'm not necessarily arching or curving my back forward. I can keep my back up, but the weight right here is still going to be down. All right, it's going to be hard to keep it up. So what happens is if I spread out a little more, still at a comfortable position, but spread out a wider base, and I bring my toes in just a tad bit, then I can get my knees out and get a better base in order to keep my back up and erect. And so now my chest can come out. I can internally rotate my shoulders back this way, kind of clench those shoulder blades, and get my elbows out in a better position in order to keep that weight up. So you'll see now I'm in this wider stance, in this wider position. Toes are a little bit more inside, not pigeon-toed, but more straight, as opposed to out about 20 degrees like you would normally squat. And then come down, and see now I can just sit down, and it's almost as if I'm sitting in a chair. All right, so now I can keep my back up, my chest, my shoulders internally rotated back, and now I can get a better front rack position, come back up, and keep that weight centralized over my core. Here's what it's going to look like. As I have this weight, the barbell in front, with a good wide stance. I got my elbows out in front of me. Knock it off, Artemis. Leave it. It's okay, I see it. I come down, and now my chest is up, my knees are over my toes, my hips are engaged. I'm just hanging out. Good front rack position. Come back up, back down. That's your front squat, all right? So work on that. Take those tips and those mechanics and apply it to your movement, and just practice. You'll see those in the workout, so it's a great movement. Until next time, this has been Adam. God bless.